Hey Nanaimo, are you ready for an emergency? Do you have a kit made? Does your kit need to be refreshed? Here's some more information on how you can be prepared for an emergency in our community. Please bear in mind as we go through this is a very high-level overview of preparing a kit, so every little bit helps. So even if you do something each day or once a week, all of it matters and it will all lead you towards the path of preparedness. So what are we going to cover today? Today we're going to look at the myths surrounding emergency preparedness and emergencies in our community. We're going to look at the needs and the hazards. We're going to talk a little bit or touch lightly on individual and family preparedness. And we're going to answer hopefully some of your questions. And at the end there'll be links to provide you with more information and detail. So what are the myths? We hear these over and over in our field. It will never happen to me. It's all insured, so I am okay. We will all be dead. You cannot plan for the unforeseen. If we do not have a disaster in our community, I've wasted my money. And that often refers to either individuals that may decide to purchase an emergency kit or have invested in some of the items to place an emergency kit. And that is why we have police, fire, and ambulance. And this is often a reality check for the general population. So as we know, when there is a large-scale emergency, oftentimes our phone systems, our telecommunications, and even our 911 system gets flooded, and you're not able to reach the people that you need to reach to support you. On a day-to-day basis, our police, fire, and ambulance can respond to the emergencies that happen in our community. But when we have a large-scale emergency, it becomes problematic because oftentimes they're trying to assess, manage, and navigate the same emergency that we're finding ourselves in. So being prepared helps to relieve some of the strain that we'll see on our first responders as well. The need to prepare is real. Thousands of people and businesses are affected each year by disasters. We often see injuries and loss of life due to emergencies that happen in our community. There's damage to our environment and property. We see billions of dollars of economic losses, and all we have to look at is the pandemic of 2020 and 2021 that we saw businesses shut down, we saw people losing their jobs. There was a significant impact on our economy and businesses. And basically the message that we want to share today is that if you prepare for an earthquake, you'll be prepared for most emergencies that can happen in the community. So the earthquake preparation and the preparation of the earthquake kit will prepare you for the smaller scale incidents that we could see on a day-to-day basis. The City of Nanaimo has done what's called a hazard, risk, and vulnerability assessment. The province of BC has identified a list of risks that can happen anywhere in the province of BC. The city takes a look at those list of risks, and then we look at what is the likelihood, the frequency, and the damage that could happen as a result of that risk occurring in our community. As a result, we came up with 21 threats. This committee that looked at these risks was comprised of business, local government, provincial government, all different members of the community that came together and did an assessment, including first responders. As a local government, we try to get our infrastructure back up and running. So whether that be sewers, our water, our roads, all of those things that allow us to continue on in our day-to-day lives. By preparing yourselves and your families, you help us to recover from any of the risks that can occur in our community. So now we'll go through some of the top risks that we see in our community and have seen over the last few years. Part of the reason why we encourage all of our residents to make kits and prepare. So one of the ones that we're seeing in particular in fall, and we're seeing this more in our spring and summer now, is major storms. So windstorms, power outages, snow events. These are things that you can find yourself in a place where your power is out for days, and we can look back towards the 2018 windstorm where people saw prolonged power outages. So what would you do? By having a kit, having all those items in your kit, you can stay in your home, you can continue on, and you can ensure that your family and loved ones are safe. So another risk that is high on our risk scale is hazardous materials. Often the scenario that is involved when we see a release or a spill due to hazardous materials is the evacuation of a neighborhood or of a street or of a large swath of our community. This is where the grab and go bag becomes very critical as part of your preparedness. So in addition to having an emergency kit, we encourage people to have a grab and go kit so that if we come knocking on your door to evacuate you, you have that grab and go bag and you can leave your home immediately. When first responders or people are coming around telling you to leave your home, it's often with little or no time, and we're doing that to keep you safe. So having that grab and go bag alleviates people saying, well, I need to get this or I need to get that. Basically, you grab that bag, you leave your house, and we will make sure that we direct you or help you get your way to a safe area to provide you with additional information. Urban interface fires. We live in an area of the country surrounded by beautiful forests. Over the years with climate change, we've seen droughts. These things have heightened the risk of wildfire in our community. We do have pockets of high-risk areas that we are concerned about. We start educating our residents in the spring to try and minimize the risk to our community. But as with hazardous materials, this could be a scenario which we saw in some of the interior parts of BC where people are being asked to evacuate immediately and are having to leave their homes. So having those grab and go bags and those emergency kits ready prepares you and alleviates some of the stress and strain that residents feel should we knock on your door due to an interface fire. We live in a seismically active area. Being prepared is critical for residents in British Columbia. Having an emergency kit and having a grab and go kit will help you and your family respond to and recover from an earthquake. And as mentioned, if you're prepared for an earthquake, you are prepared for any of the risks that can happen within our community. So why do we get earthquakes? We live in a very seismically active area of the world. We have two plates that are constantly moving and shifting that create little tremors and some mid to larger earthquakes within our area. In addition, I often get asked about tsunamis. On the east coast of Vancouver Island, we are at very low risk for tsunami threat. The west coast of the island has a higher and more significant risk to tsunami should there be a larger earthquake on those plates or near the island. So you'll see now we have 1 year of seismic activity. We on average see approximately 1,200 earthquakes per year. This gives you an example of some of the seismic activity that we see. So a 9 months current year to date on the left side of the screen shows you some of the activity that we've seen from January to September in a given year. You'll see along those two plates that they tend to be larger earthquakes, and you will see around our area in Nanaimo little dots of seismic activity or tremors that are constantly occurring. On the right side, we see a sample of 1 month of earthquakes. And again, you'll see Nanaimo has some smaller tremors that have happened, and again, the larger ones are found typically along or near the plates that were identified in the previous slide. Most people don't even feel them or know that they're happening. So now we're going to talk about making a kit. Again, reminding you that this is a very high-level overview and more detail can be found in the information links that I'll provide at the end. So what we want you to do is just start thinking about emergency preparedness and do a self-assessment or a family assessment. Do you have a kit? Do you know somebody or friends that have kits? What do you need to do to start making a kit? A lot of what you need is already found in your home, and it's just a case of putting it together in a centralized area in a tote or a backpack or a gym bag so that it is easily accessible and everybody in your residence knows where it is. So a few steps in your personal and family disaster plan. Especially for seismic, we want you to identify a safe area in each room of the house. So if there were an earthquake and the earth started moving and your house started shaking, if you were in the living room, where would you go? If you were in the kitchen, what would you do? One of the internationally accepted standards for earthquake safety is what's called the duck, cover, and hold. We want you to practice those earthquake drills. There's more information on the duck, cover, and hold and some of the information links again at the end. In addition, the third Thursday of each October, Province-wide and internationally, there's what's known as the shakeout drill. This allows you, your family, your loved ones, or your business to talk about earthquake preparedness and to either practice or discuss the duck cover and hold move. We encourage people to register online, sign up for it, practice it, talk about it, and make sure everybody in your family, your residents, your business are aware of what they need to do. In addition, we always recommend having a sturdy pair of shoes and a flashlight by your bed, not only for a seismic event where there may be debris, glass as you exit your home, but it will protect your feet in the event that you have to evacuate your home in the middle of the night. Identify a family contact. We encourage people to have a family contact outside of the immediate area. It's very important, if you're able to text or use social media, to use those as your methods of communication to family members that you're okay. A lot of times during emergencies, even if it wasn't a large-scale earthquake where we had full telecom failure, people start getting on phones and start calling, and what happens is it creates further problems by creating a telecom failure. Texting takes up very little bandwidth. There's lots of social media opportunities marked as safe on Facebook, for example. There's ways to communicate through other venues on social media to let your family members know you're safe. And do your family members know what those means of communication are? What are the roles and responsibility of each member of your family? So if you're at home, who gets the kit? Who's responsible for maintaining the kit? Who's responsible for updating the information in your kit? And what's your family reunion plan? Oftentimes, somebody could be out shopping, somebody could be at work, somebody could be at a school event. If you're separate, what is your family reunion plan? Where will you meet? So as part of your family reunion plan, look at when the event occurs, day, night, or weekend. What's the season? What's your children's school plan? Where do you meet? Having that discussion with your family in advance goes a long way towards reunification post-event. Emergency supplies. We say a minimum of 72 hours, but realistically, because we live on an island, we need you to be ready for 7 days. Water, 4 liters of water per person per day. Food, non-perishable items. Examples include granola bars, cans of tuna, really protein-rich types of foods. Lighting and radio, having a crank flashlight radio, it goes a long way. One of our first channels of communication will be through the local radio stations. Having a first aid kit for those minor bumps, bruises, or cuts that you can manage and treat yourself. Sanitation. So if we have a failure of our sewer systems, having a lot of garbage bags in your kit can support you in managing human waste. Shelter, having additional space if you can't get in your home. It could be tarps or it could be a tent. Pets, so important. Do we have water and food for our pets in these kits? Water purifying tablets and chlorine. Personal comfort and safety. Having clothes for all seasons. So for example, additional pair of shoes, undergarments, clothes for the summer, clothes for the winter, emergency information, and also, as mentioned previously, to have a grab and go bag for those evacuation events or if you need to leave your home. Other supplies. Do you have mobility issues? Do you have a special medical condition that requires additional supports? Are you hearing impaired? Is English your second language? Have some of that information written down, either for first responders or should you need support from neighbors or others. Do you have first aid supplies? Medications, having empty vials or a written list of what medications you take, especially if life-saving. Cash, loonies, toonies, $5, $10. Having cash in small denominations. Should there be a failure in our infrastructure and our banking systems are down, once stores and services start to resume, having that cash will assist you in purchasing any additional goods and services you may not have in your kit. Documentation. Having some family photos in there for reunification. Having copies of insurance documents, banking, credit card, passports, or birth certificates. This will support you if you are either evacuating your home or if there's a large emergency and you're not able to access your original documents. So where do you go? The City of Nanaimo has identified 4 reception centers in our community. It is very important to note that these are not immediately opened. For more localized emergencies, the City of Nanaimo and first responders will direct you to where we need you to go. So for example, if you were to have to evacuate your neighborhood, we'll have a designated, and it might not necessarily be the one closest to you. In a large seismic event, it's going to take time to open these. We will have to do an assessment of the building. We need to get our volunteers. We have a dedicated group of volunteers that come and man these and support these facilities for us. So the 4 identified receptions are Bowen Park, Beban Park, Oliver Woods Community Center, and Nanaimo Aquatic Center. If you can stay home, we really encourage you to stay home. If you can't stay home, these will be the 4 reception centers that will open once assessments are done and volunteers are ready. There will be more open throughout the community, but again, those will take time, especially after a seismic incident. So why be prepared? You'll be calmer and more efficient, you will respond and not react, you'll get home faster to your loved ones, and you will stay alive. It's that muscle memory that we talk about. So it's similar to when as children, when we did the fire drills, it was the stop, drop, and roll. For earthquakes, it's duck, cover, and hold. And having all of that information together in one place, constantly updated, will help you to navigate and manage any emergency scenario that can happen to you and to our community. Another service that the City of Nanaimo offers, it's free. It's called our Emergency Call Alert or Voyant Alert. It's very important to note that this is used only in emergency scenarios where the local government or the City of Nanaimo is managing it. This can send you a text, it can send a push notification on an app, an email, and it can call you. We recommend that all residents sign up for this. It's very important. It will provide you with critical information on what is going on, what you need to do, or any sources of updated information that we can send you to. If you do not have internet access, you can also phone our Public Works Department and they will support you in signing up. The link is also on our City of Nanaimo webpage, and there's a number of videos on there that walks you through the process and talks a little bit more about what Voyant Alert is and what it does. Below are some links for more information. As mentioned, the 3rd October of each year, we see the BC Shakeout drill happen across the province and internationally. You can register online at shakeoutbc.ca. Take the day to either practice the drill or discuss what you would do in an earthquake. As well, you can update your kits on this day to make sure that you're always ready for a seismic or earthquake event and any other emergency that can occur in community. In addition, brochures, information, and checklists can be found at preparedbc.ca, or you can go to the City of Nanaimo website, click on the emergency management section, and again, there's videos and emergency information to help you make your kit. We would like Nanaimo to be the most prepared community in British Columbia.